how good was David Beckham, really? This is an easy debate, a really easy debate. For me, David Beckham was world class. David Beckham was one of those footballers who would just inspire you as a fan. True story. I remember in the 2010 World Cup when he was injured. He was injured, but he seemed to be with the squad. Now that shows you something, the fact that they even wanted him with the squad. He had such a presence. He was somebody who was such a hard worker, off the ball, on the ball, in training, that he was so important to that England setup. They still had him in the squad. He was on the touchline, in a grey suit, looking dapper, as he always seemed to. And when he came onto the screen, I remember this one game where he came on the screen. I think it might have been against Germany in the 2010 World Cup, and just the sight of him just uplifted everyone in the pub I was watching it with. It was just, people started chanting again. It was a big hooray for him, and that sums up what Beckham brought to England football. That's what he meant to England football. As England fans, he was our captain, and you don't get the captain's armband from being in Hello magazine. So I do agree that the debate needs to happen in the sense that people have forgotten how good he was because he's done so many other things outside of football. Whereas other footballers, when you think about them, you just think about them in terms of their footballing career. What have they done as footballers? Whereas David Beckham is such a big celebrity that you could think about him in, from other angles. You could think about him as as an icon, really, just a British icon. I think you've only got to look and see it is what he won in the game. I mean, he was part of that Man U team. I think he won 6 titles there. It was such a dominant team that was. Man U won the first 8 of the first 11 Premier Leagues, and I think Beckham was there for 6 of those 8. He was a little bit young for the first 2. Champions League, he was great in the 99 season. Should have won the Ballon d'Or. Should have probably won the Ballon d'Or. I think if you look at the Ballon d'Or winners, they're normally from Spain. It just seems to be the case that they're from Real Madrid or Barcelona. I don't know why, but it just seems to be the case that they seem to get the votes. Who knows? I remember when Beckham came second to Figo as well. A lot of people for the Ballon d'Or, like FIFA World Player of the Year, whatever it was, a lot of people thought that he was going to win that one as well, and never did. But second to great players, played in an era of some really great players. His name was mentioned a lot. Real Madrid, biggest club in the world. Manchester United, arguably also could claim to be being the biggest club in the world. So he played for both of those clubs throughout his career. Didn't really win as much with Real Madrid as he did with Manchester United. Those Galacticos, a bit like the England's team, they just underperformed. Didn't win as much, but he did win a La Liga with Capello. I always wonder what Beckham's influence might have been on Capello getting the England job. It's so typical if you look at the England managers that they got like a manager like Sven-Göran Eriksson, 18 trophies, one trophy, one league and cup doubles in like 3 countries, 25 years of winning things, then gets the England job and wins nothing. Capella, years of winning things. I think he won like 5 leagues titles in a row, like Juventus and Madrid or whoever, and then he came to England job and again nothing. It's just typical England. Capello wasn't a good choice, and I wonder if Beckham had any did he have any say on that at all? I imagine they would have spoken to him because he was captain. I think he was captain anyway, wasn't he? He lost when McLaren came in, he seemed to lose out a little bit on his England state. It was the first time that it was sort of being suggested that Beckham wasn't going to be first name on the sheet, and he wasn't popular with England fans, and McLaren wasn't popular with England fans as a result. I think whatever you thought of Beckham at club level, when he played for England, I really feel like he was someone that the country got behind. He went to Galaxy. Look what he did there. I mean, that shows his celebrity status, his pulling power, financial terms, what he brings to a club in shirt sales. MLS was nothing before he went there. He really did make it something. But what it is today, really, it's a lot bigger. And Beckham played a huge part in that. You've only got to look at the fact that he was able to play in that league and still go on loans to like Milan, and then he moved to PSG. At an old age for a footballer, like 36, 37, playing in the Champions League quarterfinals against Barcelona, and Ancelotti thinking, I'm putting my trust in you, just shows what a professional he was. He looked after himself, and to be thought of that highly at that age shows you what a top player he really was. Make no doubt, David Beckham was one of the greatest players this country has ever produced, and I can understand why his celebrity status might cloud people's judgment, might mean that they forget just how good he was. He became famous because he was so good at football, no other reason.